Hey guys, Mohammed Sheikh here. So I wanted to tell you a quick story. This was, I think, when my son Ibrahim was around 5 or 6 years old. We sort of had this sort of routine that, once or sometimes twice a month when I would pick him up from school, I would swing by my bank just, to do some banking needs and banking stuff. Uh, this time, I think it was perhaps Valentine's Day. I'm pretty sure it was Valentine's Day. And my son was sitting on, the chairs that I had in the back while I was waiting in line. And I guess one of the bank advisors, she came out of her office, saw my son sitting there on the chairs, and just said, "Hey, would you like some chocolate?" And my son, of course, said, "Yes, I would love some chocolate." And so, and this is why I think it was Valentine's Day because he received this one of those chocolate lollipop shaped like a heart, and it's wrapped up in foil. Um, and so he got that. Now, I guess that in that experience, he learned that you get chocolate, as a young kid. Maybe he learned that you get chocolate from the bank. And the next time I had gone to the bank and he was with me, he noticed that same woman, in her office, and the door was open. And I'm watching this whole thing happen while I'm waiting in line. He knocks on the door and, she looks up and sees him and he says, "Excuse me, do you have any chocolate for me?" And she smiles and says, "No, sweetie, I don't have any chocolate. Sorry." And he's like, "Oh, that's okay," and just goes and sits down. Now, the point of this story is when he asked, "Excuse me, do you have any chocolate for me?" I felt internally this alarm go off, this panic, this almost like, "Oh my God, what are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself. You're embarrassing me, question mark." Right? These sayings of, you're not supposed to beg for stuff or for food or like all of these sort of stuff. And very quickly, I didn't react, and that's probably thanks to everything that I know about NLP and my own behaviors and all of that sort of stuff. I didn't react because very quickly I recognized that first of all, that's not even my story. I don't believe any of that. That doesn't come from me. That was actually kind of my upbringing, right? Very much. And perhaps you have similar sort of sayings and rules that, don't be a beggar, you don't ask for things or any of that. Um, that was all of that sort of coming up. And when I took a moment and a breath to really take stock of the situation, I quickly realized that, okay, what's actually happening here? I mean, my son um, wanted something, right? He had some previous history to show that this was a thing, so it was acceptable behavior, right? He knocked on the door. He said, "Please." He said, "Excuse me." It's very polite. And when he was told that, "No, I don't have any chocolate for you," he said, "Okay, thank you," right? And just sat back down. He didn't throw a fit or anything like that. So there's nothing to really be concerned about. If anything, my son was brilliantly demonstrating confidence and assertiveness. I mean, folks later on in their adult years hire me and pay a lot of money to work with me to help them, get over shyness, to help them get over, the sort of these issues and to get more confidence and to have more assertiveness in their life. And here is Ibrahim doing it perfectly without having learned that this is not acceptable behavior, which is usually what the case is, by the way, with those adults that I work with. We always kind of do a time travel back into a memory or into an experience where they behaved in a way, maybe they asked for something, and the emotion and the feedback that they got back was, "This is inappropriate." They were shut down, they were made to feel stupid, or they were made to feel like, this is embarrassing or whatever that is. And so that created a belief and a rule that generalized. And now, as an adult, they're not, comfortable in scenarios where they have to maybe ask for a raise or ask for that promotion or be assertive or in some cases tell the waiter that this meal isn't right and I want to send it back or to return something at a store. So it's really interesting how these things can generalize and what they can become later on in our life. But luckily, that was avoided, you know, and a lot of it, has to do with intensity of emotion. So maybe even if I had said something like, hey, we don't really ask for things, it depends on how he receives it, right? It really depends on, of course, my emotional intensity. And that's the difference that really makes all the difference. So I'm hoping that this story, which happened with Ibrahim about, when he was 5 years old, was a useful and a beneficial metaphor for you on just keeping our kids empowered. I mean, they already have all the resources that they need, and our job is really to sort of bring out the best. They're human beings, as I was telling my wife the other day. They're fully, they're full human beings, just in little form right now, right? So they're gonna grow up to be just like you and me, with their own wants, their own personalities, their own desires, right? And it's not about us really making them into anything, rather than empowering them and letting them discover who they get to be and who they can become, really to help them uncover what's inside themselves. So hopefully this was beneficial. If it was, comment, let me know so I can do more of these. Share this video. And if you are interested in learning very simple, practical NLP techniques that you can use to empower your kids, I've got a workshop that's coming up in less than a couple weeks, and there'll be other workshops. So depending on when you watch this video, there will be more workshops later on, but probably not at this price. It's going to be coming up Sunday, the 21st. It's $50, which is a ridiculous price for everything that you're going to be getting and what I'm actually putting into the workshop and all the skills and the practice that you're going to be doing. If you want more information about it, click the link. It'll be down below. Okay, enough about that. Hopefully this video is beneficial. Thanks.